Welcome to Movie for You. Today, we are going to explain a Russian science fiction fantasy movie called A Rough Draft. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. The film opens with a computer game developer named Krill. Krill finds himself unconscious in a police car. He wakes up and tries to remember his last moments. Upon recalling, Pearl realizes that he went to surprise his girlfriend Anna in a toy costume, and she was mad at him for not celebrating her birthday. Anna dumps Krill, leaves. Krill goes back to his workplace where he finds everyone partying and celebrating the success of his last game that has brought his company a huge contract. Krill isn't in the best of his mood, so he is annoyed by everyone taking pictures with him and partying beside him. That night, Krill goes home and is spooked to see another woman in his house. The woman tells him that her name is Renata, and she owns the place that took it into a heated argument, which leads to calling the cops. Krill shows his ID and tries to tell the cops that Renata is an intruder, but Renata takes out the official papers which shows her as the real owner of the house. The cops are forced to take Krill out of his own home. In confusion, he calls his friend and asks for a night stay. Krill spends the night gathering legal documentation of his home online. The next morning, Krill goes to the National Corporation to prove his innocence and take back ownership of his home. It comes to Krill as a great shock when the people fail to find him as a resident of his own country. He shows his passport and ID, but they claims that he's an intruder and kick him out. He goes to his office and tries to talk to his colleagues, but each one of them fails to recognize him. This drives him insane, and he starts acting crazy since no one recognizes him except his friend. He approaches him and goes mad at him, but the friend appears to be as much clueless as Krill himself is. Krill then decides to visit his parents. That only drives him nuts when his father fails to recognize him as well. This breaks Krill's heart. He goes back to Renata and tries to convince her that she's taken over his house, but she keeps disagreeing. Now Renata does something completely unpredictable. She forcefully makes Krill stab her stomach with a sharp knife. Renata dies right away, which leads us back to the opening of the movie where Krill had found himself in a cop's car. Strangely, the cops free Krill without pressing any charges for murdering a woman. After stepping out of the car, Krill receives a message from an anonymous number that wants Krill's presence in the nearest lighthouse. Krill uses an online map to track the nearest lighthouse and heads right towards it. Upon reaching, Krill notices the damaged interior and realizes the place has been abandoned for ages. He searches the entire place but doesn't find anything. He then finds a dirty mattress and sleeps the night off. The next morning, Pearl finds himself in a completely different place and becomes shocked. The doorbell rings and Krill is greeted by a strange man who delivers pile of books to his doorstep. The back door opens and Renata enters, which scares Krill. Krill argues with her and asks how she is still alive. There, Renata reveals that she has entered Krill into a new world, a world that Krill made in his recent game. She also reveals that she had to wipe his ID and existence from his actual world so that he could take a fresh start. That's why no one was recognizing him. This maddens Krill a lot. He asked Renata for an explanation, upon which she unveils an unbelievable mystery. She claims that there are thousands of worlds created parallel to Earth and that humans have found gateways to most of them. They travel from one world to another through a lighthouse tower and call themselves travelers. Renata claims that she has appointed Krill to investigate each and every single traveler that comes and goes through their gate. She says that Krill has opened one gate and the rest are to be opened. She also claims herself and all the travelers to be supernatural entities. To prove herself, she opens an empty cupboard and it surprisingly gets filled with clothes. She offers them to Krill, but he doesn't. Krill requests to go back to his world, but Renata manipulates him with fear and recalls that she has wiped out his existence from his world, so he will be nothing more than a criminal there. Subsequently, Krill accepts his fate and decides to bring along his friend, who seems to be the only person that remembers him from his world. He explains the entire concept of the parallel worlds to his friend and also shares everything that has happened to him. His friend believes him, but finds it extremely odd and wrong. All of a sudden, Krill and his friend are interrupted by a few travelers that ring the doorbell. Krill is beyond shocked to see Anna with another man on the doorstep. Actually, Anna's new friend has erased her memory and promised her a tour of this new world whose gate was opened by Krill. Krill becomes jealous to see Anna with another man, but he still does his work and allows the travelers to pass through the gate. Krill decides to go after Anna along with his friend, but instead he ends up in a place where a very weird robot attacks him off guard. Krill's friend gets scared, whereas Krill finds out that he has superpowers like a game hero and starts fighting back. He easily distracts the robot and destroys it. As they move next, they find a girl in the bathtub who has slit her throat and was bleeding heavily. She asks Krill to give her water and restore her. Upon drinking the water, the lady's wounds heal and the blood stops dripping. The woman then introduces herself as a customs officer of the world who's become immortal. She reveals to Krill that he has become immortal too. Krill becomes tired and exhausted and goes back to the tower to catch some sleep. Krill wakes up to the face of another world. The world is warm and has beaches all across. Krill goes out and takes a swim in the ocean. When he gets back, Renata shows up with other members of the senior committee that is known for keeping the world in order. They have shown up to inspect the new world. Renata shows that she's not happy with Krill's elephant, so she makes him wear a metal necklace which is willing to make sure that Krill doesn't explore this world any more than 15 kilometers. Krill feels grounded, so he decides to look for places that are within the radius. He finds out that his parents' house is within 13 kilometers, so he takes the train to pay a visit to them. As the train moves forward, Krill starts experiencing pain, and his skin turns into cellophane, a plastic bag. This is happening because Krill has almost reached his boundaries and can get killed if he tries to cross them. As Krill's skin is fully melted and turned into plastic, he asks a random passenger for water, and as he takes a sip, he is restored to his natural form. He finally visits his parents and spends a long time with them. Upon coming back, he is greeted by Anna and her new friend. Once again, Krill finds the right time to corner Anna and tries to jog her memory about their history in the real world, but Anna doesn't remember anything. Still, Anna finds Krill attractive and starts showing interest. Subsequently, it is shown that Krill has taken Anna to a party to which Renata has been invited. Renata gets jealous to see Krill with another woman because she has secretly fallen in love with him. Renata cannot stand Anna's existence, so she corners her and tries to turn her against Krill by making him look like a bad guy, but this doesn't affect Anna. Renata then gets her men to kidnap Anna and has her thrown into another world. At the party, Krill starts worrying about Anna and keeps calling her, but she doesn't answer. When he goes to the tower, he is visited by an older woman on the committee who assigns Krill to open a new door to a world that is known as the perfect world. She states that the perfect world has never had any kind of war, nor does it has any diseases. The people there are living in peace and harmony. Everyone loves and respects one another. The old woman says that she wants Krill to open the door to the perfect world because she wants to take inspiration and turn chaotic and bad worlds into perfect ones. She also claims that the perfect world is the actual real world and the rest are just replicas that were made after the perfect world. Krill accepts the mission, but he still had to find Anna. Krill opens the map to locate Anna's home and finds out that her place is a few meters ahead of the 15-kilometer radius in which he was bound. Krill decides to take the risk and visit Anna's place anyway. As he slowly moves out of the 15-kilometer boundary, he completely turns into a plastic skeleton and falls to the ground. Luckily, it had snowed there, so if he starts eating the snow, Krill gets lucky and gets back to his normal state. However, his attempt goes to the trash when he doesn't find any traces of Anna and gets back to the lighthouse tower. The next morning, Krill wakes up to a door of a new world. Upon visiting, he finds out that the world is in a very bad economical condition. It is completely dry and deficit of resources. All the people work together in a factory. Krill goes to the factory to talk to the main guy and finds Anna working there as a laborer. Anna's condition is really bad. At one point, Anna faints, so Krill had to pick her up and decides to take her back to his tower. A customs officer lady from the previous new world shows up and physically fights Krill because of Anna. Both have an epic game-like battle, but soon the factory workers show up and take down the woman because she had been getting on everyone's nerves for quite some time. Now Krill sees is the perfect opportunity to escape with Anna. When he comes back with Anna, he finds out she's about to die. Just when Krill's having the worst time of his life, his friend shows up and punishes Krill for exceeding his boundaries. The friend reveals that the committee had appointed to him as a customs officer, and on their behalf he shortens his walking limit from 15 kilometers to 50 meters. This means that Krill could only walk a few steps out of the tower. However, this doesn't stop Krill from taking a big measure and risking his life for Anna. As he exceeds his boundaries, his body starts burning and his skin starts coming off. Anna musters the strength to rip off the locket that was determining Krill's walking limit, and freezing from the misery, Krill's skin turns back to its normal state, and he gets saved. The next day, Krill wakes up to another open gateway. He goes to visit it and finds out that this is the perfect world that was given to him. Submission. He finds the world very advanced and futuristic. The people are also calm and peaceful. He finally meets up with a customs officer of that world and gathers some vital information. The officer tells that they had made this world 11 to 12 years before the other worlds so they could predict the future. He also claims to have made the other worlds in order to learn from their mistakes. If there is a conflict or any clash due to a reason, they study it and teach their people to avoid that situation. Furthermore, he says that they always store the data of other worlds and also monitor every activity made by them. Krill gets disappointed to hear all this and thinks that his world wasn't real, and that the people of his world were delusional fools. As he tries to leave, the customs officer gets his robots to kill him, as they didn't want him to reveal their personal information to his world. Krill gets into a very long fight with the robots and finally rips off a wall to get back to his world. There Renata was waiting for him. She's furious to know he has removed the necklace and picks up a fight. Krill notices that Anna has gone missing once again and finds out from Renata that she has sent her into another world. This maddens Krill, and he begins fighting Renata. In the fight, the tower gets destroyed, and Renata is stand by Krill once again. Krill wakes up in the ruins when he gets a phone call from his mother. Through this, he realizes that he's arrived back to his world where everyone remembered him. He becomes happy. His Lauren also shows up and makes him realize that the tower has been destroyed, due to which the doors to other worlds can't be opened, and Anna is stuck in there forever. The friend turns good again and agrees on building back the tower so they could start opening new doors and find Anna. At the end, the fire brigade shows up to clear up the destroyed tower, where it is revealed that Renata is still breathing under the ruins. Subscribe to see more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.